is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello and welcome once again to the Celebrity Afterlife Report. I am the Celebrity Medium. Once more, I have some hot and juicy gossip from the next world to tell you about, so let's not waste any time getting right to it. Legendary NBC TV announcer Don Pardo arrived in the afterlife the other day. In addition to the ubiquitous James Brown, the crowd waiting to greet him included original Saturday Night Live cast member John Belushi. Mr. Pardo was the mostly unseen announcer on SNL, right from its first episode back in the mid-1970s. My next world paparazzi sources tell me that Belushi gave Pardo a warm hug as he greeted him to his new existence. Soon afterwards, Gilda Radner, another original not ready for primetime player, showed up, and she too gave Pardo a big hug and a kiss. Later that day, the three were spotted having coffee together. I'm told they were deep in conversation, possibly about a future joint project. I've asked my sources to try to find out what that project might be, and they have promised to let me know as soon as more information emerges. Several months back, I told you that singer Amy Winehouse had been approached about being the star of a cartoon series called Amy's Amazing Adventures. The show in which Ms. Winehouse plays herself in animated form started airing on Next World Television recently, and from what my sources tell me, it's already a big hit. According to what I hear, the show is designed to appeal to adults as well as kids, with sophisticated jokes mixed in with the cartoon wackiness. As I reported when I first heard about this show, a running joke in it is a flock of birds that lives in Amy's trademark beehive hairdo. A source who's working on the cartoon tells me that the voices of the birds are being done by Mel Blanc, who performed the voices of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and many other Warner Brothers cartoon characters, along with June Foray, who is the voice of Rocky the Flying Squirrel, and Natasha on Rocky and Bullwinkle, along with Jonathan Winters, a legendary comedian who was an inspiration for Robin Williams. Winters' inclusion in the cast of Amy's Amazing Adventures has led to rumors that Robin himself may be joining the show soon. But for that, we will have to wait and see. Now, if, as I've said on numerous occasions, Abraham Lincoln and Whitney Houston are the afterlife's oddest couple, then Marilyn Monroe and Andy Warhol would easily have to qualify as the second oddest. Many in the next world expressed their belief that neither couple would last for long, as they both seemed so mismatched. A few weeks back, I reported that Honest Abe had proposed to Whitney, who seemed extremely happy at the prospect of becoming the next Mrs. Lincoln. What I did not know until shortly before recording this episode of the Celebrity Afterlife Report is that when Mr. Warhol heard about the president's upcoming nuptials, he decided then and there to do the same with Marilyn. He surprised her by presenting her with a copy of his famous silkscreen portrait of her, overlaid with the stenciled words, "Will you marry me?" at a party with all of their friends in attendance. According to my source, who happened to be at the party, Marilyn broke into happy tears and accepted the proposal on the spot. Okay, so far so good. And one of the people at the party, who happens to also be a friend of Abe Lincoln, suggested to Andy and Marilyn that they join the former president and the singer and make it a double wedding. Andy and Marilyn thought that was a great idea and agreed on the spot, as long as Abe and Whitney were okay with it. Now comes word that the double wedding is going to happen, and a time and place to be announced at a later date. This is shaping up to be the social event of the year in the next world. Okay, speaking of presidential couples, as of this podcast, former First Lady Nancy Reagan is still on the earthly plane at age 93. If you should happen to know Mrs. Reagan, please, and I repeat this, please do not repeat to her what I'm about to tell you. According to my sources, the Afterlife rumor mill is buzzing with word that her late husband, former President Ronald Reagan, isn't exactly staying celibate until his wife crosses over the Great Divide and joins him in wedded bliss. People are saying that the Gipper is seen out and about almost every night with a variety of beautiful girls. I'll take this for what it's worth. One of my sources says he overheard Ronnie talking to one pretty young thing and making a joke about her oval orifice. Very smooth, Mr. President, very smooth. The source tells me that he interrupted this witty banter and asked Ron what his wife might think of what he was doing. The source says that Reagan flashed his famous smile and said, "What Nancy doesn't know won't hurt her." And on that slightly disturbing note, we will take our leave for this week. We'll be taking next week off in the Labor Day holiday, but we will return the following week with more juicy gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. I am the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.